Hello and welcome to GameSpot Presents Now Playing. I'm Sean McInnes. I've got Ricardo Torres right here. Now today we've got a very, very, very special show for you guys. We're going to take a look at Brutal Legend, and to do that we've got none other than Tim Schafer and lead designer Eric Robson joining us today. Tim, Eric, how you guys doing?
Great. Thanks for having us on the show.
Definitely our pleasure. Now you guys have been working on this game for quite a while now, and you are just a few days away from finally sending it out to stores.
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling right now?
It's exciting. Aren't you excited?
I'm really excited.
Very excited.
You can feel it.
I can feel it. It's palatable. Next Tuesday.
The excitement is palpable right now.
I know.
So you lucky folks at home actually get to watch about an hour's worth of Brutal Legend today. What we're going to do is we're going to check out a half hour of single player gameplay. Now, usually what we do on Now Playing is check out the very, very beginning of the game from that first point that you put the disc in. But right now we're going to skip forward a little bit. I know you guys released that public demo. We're going to go into the single player that takes place a bit after that.
Because we want to show some new stuff. People
Brand
haven't
new
seen yet.
stuff.
Brand new stuff.
You guys did that marathon about a week ago, and we're going to check out some new stuff today.
Yeah, so the demo ends, Eddie Briggs gets pulled back to the Age of Metal, and he finds out that these humans that are trying to resist the demons, but they're not very good with the practical details of it, so he's just agreed to start building an army for them. And he goes into the Headbanger mines to rescue the Headbangers, and that's where we're picking up in the demo today.
All right, should be fun. And after that, we're going to check out a half hour of competitive multiplayer. Not only that, Ricardo, can you hand me that lovely statue over there?
Provided I don't drop it.
Yes, absolutely. This thing is surprisingly heavy, and it is handcrafted. It is a statue by none other than Tim Schafer.
I made it myself.
Maybe.
I wanted to bring something on the show that I had handmade object as a gift, so I whipped this up.
Yeah,
it's not my best, but
few minutes.
It's pretty good.
We're going to be giving a few of these away on the show today. Tune in to find out how. We'll be revealing the trivia questions for you a bit later in the show, but check it out. This thing is really nice, really heavy.
Wait,
you definitely want to win one.
Giving it away.
We're giving it away.
For how much?
For $0.
Oh my God.
I know. It's nice, huh?
So
Probably
generous
could
here.
have put less effort into it then.
All right, so we got the game fired up. It's ready to go. Eric, you want to get us started?
All right. Eric Robson. He's the lead designer.
Right, so this is a little initial boss battle in the first major mission of the game after the intro.
Do we talk while this is happening?
The ones who keep all the other workers in line. The only two I know I can always count on. Fear and pain.
That's not how you spell those words.
That's not. That got bugged and fixed more than one time.
Oh, yeah?
A new person would come on the team and be like, "Oh, that's wrong. I'll fix that." So we had to unfix it many times. This is the pit boss. You've seen he's what we call a bouncer in the game, but this guy has the extra special spiky gloves, which make him really hard to fight unless you are really tricky at using your Earthshaker and your lightning. The Earthshaker is this power cord that shakes the whole world and makes things happen. Sometimes it tears down the roof, or it makes his engines drop down, and in this case it actually drops rocks on that guy's head, which leaves his big fat belly exposed. You gotta time this right now.
Is this a pretty typical boss fight from Brutal Legend?
We really have, this is a smaller, you know, it's on the demo, there was that big horned lamprey creature, which is a bigger one, and we have some much bigger ones. This guy is kind of a mini boss.
Guards. All guards. Code red. Repeat.
There was a clue just then. Should I point that out?
Feel that you're here to tell the people.
I don't want to spoil the puzzles.
Concepts. Okay, don't spoil it.
I mean, there's only a couple of what I would call puzzles. Like right here. You think it's over, but then all these reinforcements come out, so you need a bigger army.
No way, there's too many. What are we gonna do? We're gonna
As
need
these
another
headbangers
army.
explain right here in this dialogue that I'm talking over.
Very nice.
And so Eddie's got to recruit all those guys up there on the gyre, the grinding gyre up there that is full of headbangers, but they can't hear him when he plays what's called the battle cry. I don't know if you've seen the guitar solo interface for the game, but you can hold down the right trigger and you can pick one of your special guitar solos. Like he's got 3 unlocked so far. Eventually they're all unlocked. So here's the battle cry, and if he plays it near that headphones that the pit boss is just wearing, it blasts the battle cry out to the entire room and wakes everybody.
So Eddie isn't.
Spoilers.
He's not fighting alone here. He's got a legion of headbangers at his
Yes,
side.
these are the miners who have been forced to work without any sort of tools or anything, and so they develop these really powerful necks from just bashing their heads against the wall. Eddie, recognizing them for what they are as headbangers, decides to free them with the power of rock, and so he just motivated them all with that battle cry solo, which caused them all to join the battle. And now you have tons of guys on your side, and he just chopped someone's arm off. I guess you don't have to worry about gore on this very adult channel you have here.
Sure, why not? Fine.
We'll worry about it later. Right now,
Yeah.
we won't.
Okay.
Listen up! In honor of you guys, we're calling
And so
this
now that
new
you're
army
actually seeing
Iron
this thing that you worked on for 4 years played,
with an E on the
and it's
end,
working,
so
and
people
it's
know
going to
we're
be in
not
stores, and
messing
it's on a disc. I mean,
around.
did you ever think that it wouldn't come out?
Everything? No. I don't know. You know, I just don't have the imagination to think of those kind of things. That's always been a saving grace. That it just like never occurred to me that it wouldn't come out. And the team also has just been, you know, plugging away at it. And we've had our roller coaster ride, but it never occurred to us to give up on it.
Nice.
So now you're in the open world. You see that big shining spotlights, the rock show spotlights up in the sky? That's showing where your next critical path mission is. And here's a map that shows our little nav system showing you how to get to the next mission. And there are also some side missions open. Let's see, should we go into a motor forge? Here we're seeing that they're now that you've freed the headbangers, there are the ambient patrols of headbangers roaming around, but also some of the headbangers that didn't want to join your army, what we call hairbangers, because they're part of they joined the hair metal militia, which is run by General Linewhite. And Eric's doing a double team attack right there. He just formed a mosh pit with those headbangers, and he's going to plow through these guys because they cannot. Oh, you just double bounce that guy off a rock.
Yeah.
You can also grab nearby animals, like those. They'll probably all be dead. Oh, he just earned a bunch of fire tributes for helping those headbangers fight those hairbangers right there. There are ambient animals here, like the ground urchin, which you can pick up and use as a weapon. Oh, you're just gonna hit that poor deer. Oh, that was mean. Now he's all bloody.
Oh.
You can also use the power of electricity to stun them and ride them around, like these raptor elk. You can ride him around and use his attacks. He's actually more powerful than you might imagine. And there's more and more powerful animals that you can stun and ride around, and they're helpful because they're these side missions where you can just join a battle, and if they're like handy weapons that you can grab and use.
Although Eddie does have a much, much more powerful vehicle at his disposal, right?
The Deuce. Yeah, you can use that and go into a motor forge with it. This is another one of the guitar solos, the Drop a Deuce solo.
Do you want to show what?
Yeah, well, first let's show the, just the tail lights on the Deuce actually help show you where to go. Oh, there's a more powerful animal. Get that guy later.
And so is it safe to assume that all the animal choices in the game are metal inspired?
Well, they all have to be, everything in the game is metal inspired, so the animals have to be something that could conceivably be on a heavy metal album cover. I mean, the steel-quilled ground urchin or the heavy metal porcupine might not. I can still see that.
I can see
used
it
properly in on an album cover. There's, you see Mount Rockmore over there in the distance. Right now it's got General Linewhite's head on it, but later we'll show you how to like blow up those heads and replace them with a head of your choosing. Okay, let's go over to the motor forge. Want to go to the motor forge? Mm-hmm. So out here, it's like the sun will set and rise, and there's a lot of work put into making the sky look like it could be a Frazetta painting, you know, and dynamic. Still, the sun still moves, and there's different types of weather. There's here's the Devil's Thorn plant, which lets you know that there's a buried relic nearby. So if you play the Relic Razor solo, it'll raise it up on the ground.
So we're getting questions now, so I'm going to start to just pepper them in.
Oh, I'm not going to take any questions, sorry.
That's too bad. We've got you for an hour. You're not leaving.
There's the motor forge. An hour? Oh my God.
How many headbangers can you have in your posse?
Well, you can have. That's a question. Because you can have, I think to make a mosh pit, you can actually have like 16 of them around you,
Yeah,
right?
the mosh pit.
But in your army, you can have, I think, 40. You can make 40 of them if you're in a stage battle. In a stage battle, you can summon warriors, squads of warriors in different configurations. So you could have 40 headbangers, or mix it up and have some razor girls. Or here's the motor forge where some titans are still pounding out the continents of the earth on giant anvils.
We're about to see a very familiar face here, right?
Yes.
Or a familiar voice first.
Yeah. You get a few seconds to guess. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? I think it's gonna be. No, yeah.
Oh,
Not who I expected.
Oh.
Not who I expected.
Oh, I was thinking John Denver.
I was thinking it was gonna be John Denver too. That's Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh.
I don't know if we should talk over his voice. It was very expensive.
That's the way the world is today, I'm
We'll let
afraid.
people savor it.
Oh, me? Oh, I'm nobody. I'm just a guardian of metal.
Oh, wow, great. So, you want to help me fight demons and stuff?
Nah, I'm not a fighter. I'm more of, what shall we say, a keeper of timeless secrets, that's all.
Tim, what was the
Prove
inspiration
yourself
for the
worthy.
names on Ozzy's
Maybe
hands there?
I'll share some with
They're
you.
the rings he wears.
For
you know a
instance,
fun fact
did
about his
you
rings that I don't
know
know?
that this world was
Sound like
once
you're setting me up for an
ruled
awesome
by an
fun
ancient
fact
race?
that
Oh, I can make something up.
I think they're based on
Yeah, they
Ozzy
were
and
some.
stuff he wears.
They
I really
took every
cared
part
about
of
making
that
sure he had
old
fringe though,
They
because
took
like
his
the
blood,
cover of
his fire,
Black Sabbath
his
Volume
steel
4, he's
flesh.
got his arms
They
up. He's got
even
all
took his
always in the
breath
70s he had these
and
awesome
made that
fringe
found
outfits, and so he wanted to make sure that he had
million other things,
awesome
including
fringe.
music.
No, Tim, I remember you telling me when you met Ozzy, you brought some records to him, and he actually told you about like all the different album covers, right?
Yeah, we sat there with my vinyl collection from when I was at like the first album I got, which was Diary of a Madman. And I got to bring that album and have him sign it because one of my favorite songs on there is called SATO, and I was like, what does SATO stand for? And it's like the S stands for Sharon, and then the other letters are different kids in his family and different people.
If you do
And
something that pleases the gods, they might reward you.
yeah, and he told like the inside speak of the devil. There's this a little person. There's like a midget in a druid's robe, a small person, and he was like saying it's sad that guy's now passed away, but he used to be part of our stage show, and we would hang him every night from like or chop his head off with a guillotine or like or something really gruesome and every night, and then the police after the show one time came up and said, "Do you do that every show?" And Ozzy's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Where do you get them all?" I can tell that story because it's Ozzy's story. It's not mine. I would never, of course,
Never
tell a
had a
story
kid.
about.
No, about a midget getting his head cut
Insensitive.
off.
So we actually just got a user question from William Gogol from Costa Mesa that kind of touches on Ozzy. He wants to know how hard it was to get Ozzy, Lemmy, Lita, and Rob to sign on to the project.
I mean, the first person we got was Jack Black, and that helped a lot because, people could tell it was a little legitimate project. So that was, the first hurdle was them feeling they were being part of something cool. And then I think showing them the game and our take on the game and how their character would look and be treated, I think we had to get past the point of them thinking it was like a parody of metal, because it's not a parody of metal. It's like it's a tribute to heavy metal. And so I think once they found that out, it was really easy to get them. Not easy to get them, but I mean, they one by one signed on. That was the Motor Forge. Do you guys know what the Motor Forge is? It's where you use the fire tributes that you earn in the game to buy upgrades for the car, and you just unlock the Mouth of Metal, which is basically a radio for your car. Can you bring up the Mouth of Metal? Yeah. So this shows your whole playlist, and it comes with a bunch of songs already built into it. And you can see you can turn on shuffle, or you can sort by. Let's sort by genre, because you can go up there to where it says allegiance. Yeah, you can sort by song, artist, or genre. So it's like broken down: epic fantasy metal, classic heavy metal, hard rock, new wave of British heavy metal, power metal, pop metal, traditional heavy metal, thrash metal, technical thrash metal. Like we wanted to make sure. I mean, I know some people are going to write in letters like, well, actually, thrash metal does not include. There's going to be some disputes, but that's what it's all about for the fans, right?
This is encyclopedic metal.
Yes,
I honestly did not realize that pirate metal was a real subgenre.
I didn't either before we started this game, and I learned a lot about heavy metal working on. I thought I knew about heavy metal until I made this game and found out there's stuff like pirate metal. And also, where's the buried metal over there? You want to show that? So hidden around this location.
Is this another spoiler we should warn people about?
Warren, what?
The kids. Should we warn this is a spoiler?
Oh, I thought if we're gonna play an hour of the game, it's gonna be all spoilers.
But this is like a secret.
Okay, no. Here's one location. There's like a bunch of these all over the game. Here's some more of those devil's thorns, which lets you know there's a buried statue here. And the statue, when you raise it, will unlock a new song for the Mouth of Metal in your car. So he's gonna raise it up. There's an awesome statue in there with a skull on it, and it unlocks In the Black by Motorhead.
So if you had to guess, how many skulls in the game?
There are so many skulls in the game. Or actually, they're just the right amount. There's a
Nice.
bound serpent too. You can see that.
The answer is just the right amount.
There's that bound serpent. They're these cool old Titan statues that are in the game that the demons have come and wrapped up with their S&M type wear, because the demons are all about S&M and ball gags and stuff. So they've gagged up this demon, and I mean this trophy, this statue here, and by playing your pyrotechnic blast in your guitar, you can blast it open and free it to its natural state, and you earn more fire chips. And every time you do that 10 times, you
Get a little gift from Armageddon.
you get a little gift from Armageddon, the Fire Beast.
Oh, nice.
Yep. This is the
Oh, I
second
tried
half
the
of the
cutscene
cutscene.
here.
You can watch this one.
I've already met Lars.
This is you bringing back the headbangers
And,
to Lars. That's Lars and Lita Halford.
Where's
Do you want to mention because people may be hearing the beeps that we chose a certain
Oh,
set
yeah.
of settings
Oh, yeah.
for this?
Oh, this is a spoiler here. Don't watch this part. I think everyone who doesn't want to see spoilers isn't watching anymore. Right? No, they should be watching.
They should. They're hanging on your every word right
There's
now.
a lot of pro tips here they're going to get. That's the power slide, the inspiration for the power slide, which is the move that the player can do also.
You didn't try to free the girls too, did you?
Ophelia has been wounded by one of her own adventures she's gone off on to do. You don't know what it is
We
till
have
later.
to take her to the Killmaster.
Lars, no.
And that's the
I
first
am
time you hear
right
mention of
Lars
the
now.
Killmaster,
To lay
a mysterious
low.
figure
Out of my
known
way.
as the Killmaster.
Who could that be
Who could
voiced
that
by?
be? It's a mystery.
Have to stop him, please.
That's Lita Halford. When I named these characters, I had no idea we were going to get these guys in the game, like Rob Halford or Lita Ford. So I was just pulling names from heavy metal, like Lars and Lita Halford, right? And then we got them in the game, and then Rob Halford played General Lionwhite, who has a scene with Lars Halford. So his dialogue is like, "Look, Halford, I don't know what's going on here," and he's like, "Why is that character named Halford?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's a long story." So
I'm just going to hit.
Now, Nate Sykes from
No,
Wilsonville
change
wants
those
to know what the craziest guitar solo in the game is and what can it do.
God, the hardest one for Ironhead to play, I think, is Bring It On Home. I think that's the longest one. Bring It On Home summons a giant flaming zeppelin that crashes on the battlefield and burns all your enemies, which is pretty fun. Here's Mount Rushmore. You can go up on the top of this horn thrower statue.
Rock.
Mount Rockmore, sorry. And once you've gone into the Motor Forge to unlock some effigies, you can blast it and replace it with Eddie's head.
4 Eddies?
You can do 4 Eddies if you want. You can unlock an effigy based on almost every hero character in the game. So you can put a Lemmy up there, or Rob Halford, or the 2 versions of Rob Halford. So there's Mount Rockmore.
Does Lion White get angry and change those back to him?
I don't want to spoil it. Another character will do that, not General Lion White. No. And there's another Mortar Forge over there. You can raise that one up. You get an achievement if you raise them all up.
And so Josh Carpenter from Lubbock wants to know how long the single-player campaign is going to take.
I think, typically it would probably take you like 15 hours. You could definitely play it for longer if you wanted to get all this crazy open world stuff. Here's a Vista viewer. Landmark viewer. We should come up with a more heavy metal name.
Yeah.
Like
Before-
eyeball
before the game
popping,
ships.
skull fork eye thing. These just show you some of the kind of album cover like statues and stuff we have all over the game, and they earn you fire tributes.
So Aragon Vimon from Patras wants to know, was the main character a brutal legend inspired by you?
Inspired by me. Well, I mean, look at me, obviously. Wait, bring Eddie up on the screen, see? No, that's a deer. Look at that. Obviously.
Clearly the answer is yes.
Clearly the answer is, how do I get out of his way? Oh, there we go. Yep,
Very nice.
you can see it. Yep.
And you're working on the hair.
I'm working on the hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm growing
Get
it
it
out
long
now,
like
so
that.
I can. I want people to think I'm Eddie Briggs on the street. Now, I think the inspiration. the inspiration for the character, besides roadies in general and just the the aesthetic of roadies, also was Jack. The first visual thing we did before we thought we'd ever have Jack on the project was Jack Black, kind of mixed with Glenn Danzig a little bit. There's a little bit of Glenn Danzig, a little bit of Jack Black in there. Their love child.
That would be a frightening love child, but Eddie, not too bad. So, Tim, I'm curious, when you guys originally started designing the game, how much has it changed over these 4 years, as we're seeing it right now with the open world setting and the squad tactics and all that?
Well, it's oh wait, hold on. We're gonna do some lore here.
Oh, we can wait for the answer.
Oh, how much? It really hasn't changed that much. I mean, I think it's gotten, it started off. The first idea was to make a multiplayer game, and it was very strategic, and I think it got simpler. As we made it more and more action focused and more, because we started with an in our process, they call it Scrum or Agile development. We started with a really character-focused design approach. So we just made Eddie running around the world with an axe, and then we gave him a car, and then we, so as we started building the character, the game around the character, it started to become focused on fun, action-oriented things for the character to do. So the game became more of an action game. And there's still a layer of strategy to it, but there's also just a whole lot of axe play and guitar playing and driving your car around. And you've just stunned a Taloth, which is pretty hard to do. I think you wounded it a little bit too.
Well,
but he's a fun guy to ride around and do damage and kill hairbangers with, or deer. Oh, you missed that one. Okay, let's show him the lore. If you please, professional game player Eric Robson. So if you do the Earthshaker, you can blast off all those old chains on these ancient statues you find around. And if you look into the crystal ball, you'll see a little bit of the backstory from the lore of the land, a piece of legend.
Nice.
This one was about Ormagood and the lovable things.
In the beginning, all was darkness. That was how the first ones preferred it, for they were so hideous that even they could not bear to look upon themselves. Then came the Fire Beast, a giant monster of flaming molten iron who roared across the sky like an angry
13.
comet.
There's one you don't get until after you beat it, but there's 13, and they tell important parts of the backstory. Because I really like to write a backstory for the world. Like for each game, it's different. Psychonauts is all about like the social networking of the children in the camp, and for this game it was more about like creation myths, because Norse mythology has these great like where did the world come from, where did mankind come from, the giants and the and all those. So we made up our own story for how this world came about, and normally I don't like to tell the backstory in the game. I think it should stay in the background, like hidden and stuff, and just use like you hint at it. So I pulled just the parts that are really relevant to the story, and you see them in lore, and those awesome pieces of art by Scott Campbell, and they look like little etchings. And he earned some fire tributes. Uh-oh, hairbangers. So Eric's going to summon his deuce so he can drive over people. What a sick thing to do. We're not advising this. This is much easier, though, when you have... Oh, try and kill him with the porcupines.
Oh.
When you have weapons on your deuce, you can go to the Motorforge and upgrade your deuce with a machine gun or a heat-seeking missile or flames that shoot out the sides.
It's the fun stuff.
Now, you probably had so much fun with killing porcupines, you forgot that Ophelia was totally wounded and dying.
Oh, right,
And
yeah.
you were running up to see the Killmaster to save her. I like that shot of that anvil back there.
She's not dying that quickly.
Yeah, she's dying. She's just about
She's
dead.
dying inside.
Oh, you got to her just in time.
Fading. We need to take her to the Killmaster.
The what?
Do not fear him. He chooses that name to scare off intruders.
Oh.
And protect his flock of giant spiders. He is a powerful healer.
All right, let's take Ophelia to him now.
I tried. Ambushed on the path. Lion White loyalists.
I can handle those guys. Just follow me.
We must hurry.
Now.
Good call.
Yeah. You have a choice.
So while we're waiting, Stampy from Croatia. has
In Croatia right now?
Yes.
Wow. You guys are international.
We are.
It's great.
What does your wife think about your job, and is she aware of your awesomeness?
I don't want to blow her cover because she likes to talk about what a gamer she is, but she doesn't like games at all. She gets I try and get her to play games with me. I can't even get her to look at a game on the screen for longer than 20 seconds before her eyes start to wander around the room. So she's not a huge gamer, but I think she thinks it's cool,
And well, this has multiplayer. You can play it as a couple.
I will try. I will try my best to get her to play. But, it's not mandatory to. Yeah.
I think that's something our audience is always wrestling with. Because we always get a lot of people asking, how am I going to get my girlfriend to play? And
I think that it would be great to. I got her to play Katamari Damacy with me for a while.
Nice.
And of course, I always create Animal Crossing houses for her to join in. But she likes this game. My baby likes it.
How old is it now?
My baby's 16 months. She dances when the game comes on.
Old
So it's
enough?
danceable.
Nice.
Oh, here you meet Pinboy and the Dominatrixes. Together they're known as the Punishing Party, which is one of the first demon units you fight in the game. He's using his pyrotechnic power to blast them off that rock because he can't get to them when they're on that rock, so he smacks them up in the air. And when you use it, we have a target lock system, so you can target and then you flick the right stick to like select the different the DOMs to knock them off their perch. And when the Dominatrixes when they're all dead, Pinboy gets so sad that he sacrifices himself. It's really kind of sad.
That poor guy.
Yeah.
So you've got layered subtext throughout the whole thing. It's nice.
What do you think that was subtext? What did that mean to you? I'd like to analyze you right now, but what did you think of that? Who did you feel more sorry for?
You're making a statement on society.
I didn't come up with that character. I think it was Eric. Where did that come from?
That was
Eric?
I'm sure that was a collaboration between the design
You
team and
and
the
your-
many fine artists.
It's a collaboration between you and Sigmund Freud.
Let's see.
So the guys already sneak attack you from behind the.
Yeah, but I think there are more on the way.
Uh-oh.
So Snipes 2 is asking, are there going to be different guitars with different abilities?
You can get. You always have Clementine, your guitar, but you also can get new strings for it. So you go in the Motor Forge, you get new strings. Some of them emphasize different attacks. Like if your favorite attack is the Earthshaker, you can get strings that make your Earthshaker more powerful. If you really like the Pyro attacks, you can get strings that make the Pyro more valuable. What other strings can you get?
Yeah, no, you can get strings that up the pyro, the electricity, the
Reduce the
Earthshaker,
cooldown on the solos.
raise the damage of guitar attacks within melee combos.
So you can upgrade your guitar in that way, or you could spend your fire tributes on your axe, and you get treatments for your axe, and get you can like Stampede that are form a mosh pit. That's whenever you hear a stampede coming, always form a mosh pit to protect. Oh my God, that's gruesome. Oh,
That's actually
God, I
a
don't
good
wanna
life
look at that.
lesson.
What?
That's actually a good life lesson.
Yeah, it's something that I really want to teach people valuable lessons that they can take into their own life with this game.
So it makes sense that a roadie would have a guitar with him at all times, but how'd you decide to give him that sweet battle axe?
Well, that was the first thing, if you're going back to ancient times,
Like you do.
as one is
As
wont
one
to
is
do.
wont to do, yeah.
Yeah. What would you want to have most? Like a sweet car and
Right.
a battle axe. Those are the two things that would. And I think there's a lot of things that I don't know about other people, but I always think if I had to use a battle axe, I've never tried it, but I'd probably be pretty good at it. I figure I'd be able to do what Eddie does here. And Eddie's that kind of person. He's kind of like, yeah, I've never really wielded a battle axe before, but I bet I could probably handle it if I needed to.
You can hold it one-handed too.
It's pretty heavy too. It used to be really heavy. There's a really old build of our game where it was like gun grade, like this huge axe. But we found out Eddie didn't need it that big.
So you always hear about when folks are developing a game, they try different things out in the office. Did you guys build any of this and just kind of have it lying around, and if you needed inspiration or try to figure something out, run around the office with a large stick?
Oh, you mean, the animators have a big box of fake swords by their desk with plastic axes and things.
And you're sure they're fake?
I think they're fake. There's Jeff Solis, one of our world builders, is a enthusiast for ancient weaponry and armor and stuff like that. And he's got some actual deadly weapons.
So you think they're fake, but you never argue with them just to be safe.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then Joshua Priest from Winnipeg is just wanting us to clarify that from what he sees, it seems to be an open world game. Is that right? And answer, yes.
Yeah, there's like 64 square kilometers of explorable space.
And the different areas sort of have like a different look to them depending on like genres and
some genres of music. There's an area that looks like 1980s Los Angeles that is, more hair metal oriented. There's a Frozen area that has more of the kind of Norwegian black metal vibe to it. And most of it, I think half of it is explorable right off the bat, and then you have to unlock the second half through the course of the campaign.
Now,
Oh, we're about
Seems
to
like-
meet the Killmaster.
Seems like folks are asking the tough questions too. This one is
Wait, no, I don't want any tough questions.
too
Do
bad.
you have a softer ball question?
Were there any developers harmed in the making of the game?
Oh, that's not hard at all. Yes, very many. Did we actually hurt anyone physically?
Is it just all mental?
Oh, here's another superstar coming up. See if you can guess who it is this time. Bay City Rollers? No? Last chance to guess. She's dying, remember that? She's dying? The plot.
Now what the hell?
Noble Killmaster, this woman,
Didn't you see the signs? We don't like visitors up here.
but she's dying.
Yeah, so what's her excuse?
I beg of you, heal this woman who wanted only to free her sisters from the grip of General Lionwhite.
Oh, you're fighting Lionwhite. Why didn't you say so? I hate that.
The voice recordings.
Yeah. I went
Did
to
you totally turn into a
See now.
13-year-old?
I totally went and, oh, this is, we had Lemmy record the bass solo too, so that's a real Lemmy bass solo.
Nice.
And we studied reference of it too, because Lemmy doesn't play with two fingers like a lot of bassists do. He plays with a pick.
Oh yeah.
So we had to make sure that was right.
These are the heaviest strings
Lemmy was the first rock god that we had in the studio. And so that day was really tense for me. I was like, oh God, everyone was like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? And on tiptoes, and he comes in, he's a pretty quiet guy, and he just, had an ashtray there in the studio. No one gets to smoke in a studio except for like Lemmy. And we had some rum and coke and Cheez-Its, and he just hung out and had a drink, and then we started talking about medieval weapons, and he really kind of, then he got really animated, and he's like, he actually is a big history buff. He likes like Roman swords, he collects like World War II knives, and he's really into like historical weaponry, and also fiction about it, like Moorcock type stuff.
Nice. So I think we're gonna switch it up now.
Yeah.
Is it time to,
just so we don't spoil
Some
too
multiplayer?
much of the game, we should probably jump into the multiplayer.
yes.
Yes. And while we're making the transition,
Oh yeah.
oh my
Let's take
gosh.
a look at this guy again.
and so far we haven't dropped it.
Oh, careful.
Nice.
I
We're
don't
good.
want to have to carve another one. It takes me at least half an hour to make each one.
Crisis averted. Don't you worry. Okay.
You're gonna hold him by his thigh? That's what you're gonna
That's not weird at all, right?
No, that's-
that's perfectly normal. So, how are we giving this thing away?
We're giving it away with a question.
You want me to hold it?
Oh, you can Vanna White it for a while.
Okay.
Just pretend it's QVC.
It's so beautiful.
So
And sharp. Ow!
we don't just give these things away. We make people work for it a little bit. So there's got to be a trivia question, and we were
Wait,
gonna.
I forgot my trivia question.
Well then, you
Didn't
better
I
make
have
one
one?
up. You did.
I had a great one. And I told you guys what it was, and now I totally am blanking on
Does
it.
anybody remember?
Dun, 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 dun. I'll just spin it around for a minute.
For a minute and a half.
Maybe a good multiplayer match will jog your memory.
Yeah.
We have to give it away now, though.
No, we can do the question between now and the end of the show.
I told you guys. I'm blaming you guys because I told you what it was.
You could have written it down.
On what? Look at this thing. Look at the soles of his shoes.
Those are authentic.
He's got like the real soles. We could get sued over that.
Did you get the you got the Converse license for
Don't
these?
say any brand names.
Oh,
It's
Schmonverse shoes.
some type of shoe.
Totally not the ones you're wearing.
He's got a lot. Oh, there, yeah. Look at that detail on his feet. Nice. Every fold of his jeans, every skull. These are actual. They use the skulls from the game too as models. There's a skull from that corpse pile.
It is nice. Here,
There you go.
I'll take that off your
Grab his
hands.
thigh, okay.
Don't grab his thigh.
So you've got between now and the end of the show to remember
Yeah, I'm
that.
totally
So-
going to remember that trivia question. Here's a trivia question. What was the trivia question I was going to ask on the show?
Sweet,
could be,
we win.
That could be tough. All right, let's.
Oh,
So what
I
was-
remember what it was.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. Here we
sweet.
go.
What was the original name of the band Black Sabbath?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Tricky.
What was the original name of Black Sabbath? It's a good question.
Yeah. So if you
Metal
guys
fans will know.
send that in, and first lucky two will, or not first,
And
but
it's
we'll
cheating
pick.
to use Wikipedia.
Yeah. So nobody Wikipedia. Shut the browsers right now.
They didn't like the original name, so they fired up Rock Band 2 and used the random band name generator. And they got Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Fun fact, a little bit of history for you. Tim, so stage battles are a big part of the single player, and that's also sort of how the multiplayer works, right?
Yeah, the multiplayer focuses on that type of gameplay, which is you have a rock stage as your home base, like a music festival stage. There's Ophelia's stage, which is kind of goth looking, and your opponent has his rock stage, and you're fighting to take control of the battlefield and destroy your enemy's stage. And you get to choose what warriors join your battle. Here's Ophelia. She brought up her recruit menu already, which lets her see she can build grave diggers and a bride and a fright wig, and that's a range unit and a melee unit. And there they've all gone off to capture a resource point on the map. So you can fly to get a more strategic view of the battlefield. To here, she's watching her troops run off to attack this fan leech.
Now, this faction that we're seeing here, the Drowning Doom, that's quite a bit different from what we're used to seeing, right?
The Drowning Doom, yeah, that's their look is more. The idea is that they've sipped from the sea of black tears, which is a lake of pure sorrow, which gives them this power, but it also curses them to look kind of undead and
sad.
Yes. And so what you've done here is gotten rid of that fan leech, and this is what's called a fan geyser, which is a natural outpouring of fans in the world that you can win fans over to your side by playing an awesome guitar solo and then building a merch booth. In Eddie's case, it looks just like a merch booth from a rock concert. In Ophelia's case, it builds what's called a well of souls. Wait, look at that. The well of souls, there it is. There's even a little bucket on the top. And it brings the fans up, and they fly back to her stage to power her show. So they're the energy she puts on the show, and you spend those by recruiting more warriors to join your side. So that's the cycle of the game, is that you recruit more warriors, they go out, they capture more fans, and then use those fans to build up a big enough army that you can attack your enemy's stage and burn it down.
What sort of different troop units are you dealing with here? Are there different classes involved?
You want to say something about that?
Well, yeah. Here, the Drowning Doom have a lot of debuffing units, so they specialize in rendering their enemies less effective. So the Bride being an example of that, and she slows down enemies that are near her.
And she carries this little cloud around with her that is kind of like rains all the time on her, and it makes everyone around her move really slow. There's also an organist, which is a giant hot rod with a pipe organ built into it, and there's a guy playing the organ, and it bums out everybody on the enemy's side, so they just don't fight as well. And you can tell that's happening because it makes their weapons all transparent, so they don't have as much power to attack.
And let's see, question from our chat room. Dante136 asks, how many maps for online, and will there be a rank system?
There are 7, right?
I believe that's right, yeah.
Yes, there's 7, and there will be a rank system.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are the maps...
And team matchmaking.
Yeah.
Are the maps taken from the single-player environments, or are they sort of brand new?
They're new environments using, there's an area. This is based on an area that's actually in the game, but it's configured differently to be optimum for this battle.
Go, my darlings.
Now, we're doing 2-player here, but you can get more players in a single match.
You can draw that around. Yeah, you can get teams of 4 on each side.
Okay.
So 8 players playing together. Here's the organist. You can drive. The thing with the double teams, you can do a double team attack with any friendly unit, meaning you can do a special move that they can only do together. In the case of the organist, you can drive the car around. And here the grave diggers have buried you underground, and now Ophelia is actually moving underground in the form of this little splashy wake that travels around. She can get underneath her enemies and explode up from the ground. Oh, there's the enemy over there working another fan leech. So, let me show the, oh, you gotta fight now.
Yeah. I thought I'd show off the...
Here's the rat gut. He's got what we call the regurgitack, which is, he has a distended belly that's full of, I don't want to say what it is, but I guess maybe the name kind of gives it away. But they're going into battle here against Eddie's army. Eddie Riggs is over here with his army, and they just taken down. Oh, they're building a merch booth over there. So, here, he barfs rats.
Oh.
Of course, it's rats. There's a big debate about whether it should be rats or spiders. And now the rats you can drive them all over the battlefield, and you press A, and they'll jump on, like they jump on that biker right there, and biting the heck out of him.
You know, you don't see enough rats in
You
games.
don't see a lot of, well, you see rats, but you never see anyone barf rats enough.
Yeah.
Oh, look at those headbangers. They hate having rats biting them.
I think they had barfing rats in the Ratatouille game.
That's true.
They ate some bad French cuisine, and it was ugly.
So he can do that on his own, but when you do it, it's a lot more powerful and you can control it. And there's Eddie's doing a double team attack right now with the Metal Beast. He's driving that around, blowing fire, and Ophelia's punching it in the butt to kill it.
That's the weak spot.
I'm like, there's a screenshot.
Oh, it's almost dead.
So there's an ongoing chant in the chat room wanting, and in the questions people are sending in for any talk of DLC. What do you guys have to say about those kinds of questions?
I think DLC is awesome.
Yeah?
That's what I'll say about DLC.
All right.
Tim personally enjoys DLC.
I enjoy it, and I am a supporter of it. Oh wait, show the lightning rod. Oh, you're busy trying to win here.
No,
Okay, there's the lightning rod, which is a guy in an electric chair with a hot rod, and you can drive him around. I think Ophelia looks cool when she hangs on the bumper like that. It's a really stylish move. So you can drive it around, then use its special lightning attack, and the lightning chair guy comes out and he can electrocute people.
When they
with a
don't
ranged
drive away
weapon,
like
but
that.
they drove away. Or you can attack the merch booth. You got to destroy his merch booth so you can take over those fans.
In your guys' experience, how does the gameplay change when you have the full 8 players going on?
It's really fun to do it with your friends because you you can split up the strategy. One person can just do the action part of it if they want, just go out and do the axe and play it. Someone can just be in charge of playing the right guitar solo at the right time, and someone else can focus on building the units. It's really fun. I think the most fun is just 2-on-2 because it's the right balance of having. But all the different modes are fun.
I want you to move.
I like playing against the AI so no one can see me lose.
Oh yeah, that's critical.
I think you're doing. Oh, I don't know about this. I think Devin is well. You could still pull it out. He's been practicing. These are all Ophelia's guitar solos. Now you're gonna play. What does Baleful Misdirection do there?
This is going to create some illusionary units here.
So this brings up this allows him to. He's made a fake,
It's basically a decoy.
a decoy unit there that to the other player looks real, and they won't be able to tell that it's fake until they destroy it, and it poofs in a humiliating cloud of misdirection.
So I'm doing a couple things here. I've just sent my army. They've just taken down this enemy merch booth, and I'm going to claim this fan geyser. And at the same time, I've ordered my army to go to the enemy's current position. The enemy being Devin of
Devin,
EAPR.
the evil Devin.
He's not that evil.
Oh, he built a rock crusher. Go check out the rock crusher. His army is in your base, killing your.
It's all right.
Killing your dudes.
Killing your dudes. Oh, the Spirit of Bladehenge. Okay, so that's the rock crusher, which is the most powerful Iron Head unit, and he just summoned the Spirit of Bladehenge, which is a series of Bladehenge type rocks with a big sword stabbed in the middle of it, just like the town of Bladehenge itself.
I can't resist asking, is there a Brutal Legend multiplayer equivalent to the Zerg Rush?
Well, you have cheaper, small units like the Headbangers. Brutal defeat. Okay, you lost, but you had fun. You have to admit.
Well, that's all right. Devin will see you next game. It'll be fine.
Uh-oh, Fiddle Cub. Now everybody knows.
Don't send Kevin any friend requests. Or do.
So, so that was the Eddie Riggs trouncing Ophelia in the Drowning Doom, but it doesn't have to be that way. She doesn't have. You lost this time, kid, but you don't have to like it.
That's right.
What movie is that from? That's another trivia question.
Point Break.
It's Lucas related.
It's Han Solo.
Close. It's Indiana Jones.
Oh,
Same thing.
I confuse Indiana Jones and Point Break all the time.
That's true. They have a lot in common.
They do.
For instance. So, Brutal
Surfing?
Legend. We're playing on the Bleeding Coast.
And so,
And this
how
time
many
I'm
maps
playing
did we see?
Tainted Coil.
7.
How many maps did we see to choose from?
I don't know how many you saw. How many did you see? I saw 7.
All right, there you go.
Yeah. There's Diviculus. Okay, here's Emperor Diviculus. He's the leader of the demons.
Seems like a good guy.
Yeah, he's voiced by Tim Curry, who does an awesome job. You'll hear him talking in a second. He's recruited a battle nun. Now, the thing about the Tainted Coil here is they can actually spawn units on the battlefield. They don't have to all come from the stage here. So he just politely asked that battle nun to build a punishing party, which is that one you saw from the single-player mission. But now they're on the ground and you can command them. And they're trying to kill his pin boy. There's Eddie. Oh, that guy's a jerk. What did he just do? I think he just played a solo. Oh no, you were just dying. Okay, so so she could, if that battleman was in the enemy base, you could have spawned all those troops right there in the enemy base. So that's a pretty powerful thing to do. So let's fly over the battlefield here. This is a different map. It has one resource point right in the middle, unlike that last map that had like 8 of them. What are you doing in the enemy base? You're gonna curse all your enemies.
So how did you guys come up with all the various unit names or whatever? Did a lot of that come from you? Did you guys do a lot of brainstorming?
We did a lot of brainstorming together, like designers and the artists together, talking about, okay, we need a unit that's like a vehicle but has a range attack, and then ours would all draw crazy pictures, and we pick our favorite one. The naming always takes a long time.
Like Battle Nun?
No, that one, right off the bat, we were like, Battle Nun.
Sometimes you just know.
Yeah.
That was actually like the concept artist wrote that on the thing, I think.
When it feels right, it's right.
You made that up. Did you make that?
Yeah, that's one of my originals.
I came up with Pin Boy, though.
Nice. So Snipes 2 wants to know what your favorite faction to play with is.
Well, that's interesting. I kind of like, I kind of like the Drowning Doom because they have a lot of fun double team attacks, like that rat barfing guy, and the tree back character who you didn't see. He's a really fun. He's like a tree, but when you double team with him, he pulls himself out of the ground and he's just a giant guy with a tree growing out of his back, and a murder of crows up in his tree that kills people. But they all have their advantages. Like the Tainted Coil has a lot of just crazy units, like the Hate Cage, which is that giant creature from the intro of the game. It just comes stomping around, and you can double team with him and then march over the battlefield. It feels like you're this big giant, and you can walk up to your enemies like his biggest vehicle and just stomp it with your foot, and that's really satisfying stuff. Also, Pinboy's double team attack here, where Diviculus just gets up and pulls all the pins out of his back and throws them at the enemies, is really powerful, and that's a fun one to do.
So actually, since you've mentioned Hate Cage, you've gotten requests to see Hate Cage and the Jugulator.
The Jugulator?
I have no idea what that is.
Are you making up a unit?
I'm not.
Are you speaking of Juggalos, the fans of the Insane Clown Posse?
I have no idea.
Are they a faction?
Not yet.
I'm sure Eric will manage to build a Hate Cage.
We're headed there, yeah.
We're headed there. We don't want to give away our strategy in case Devin is listening.
Or watching.
Or watching. The Tainted Coil also does have the fun celebrity voice of Tim Curry as Diviculus. It has Steve Agee from Sarah Silverman Show as the Skull Raker, and David Cross. He plays the Screamer, he's the only unit on the battlefield that doesn't really want to be there. He just was going to the spa one day, and he got tied to this vehicle. It's like a living hot rod that tortures him all day long. So he's just driving around the battlefield, getting hot oil poured on him, and screaming his lungs out. Devin summoned a deuce, and he's driving over all your guys.
It's okay.
That's pretty effective. Hey, you can summon your car on the battlefield. Okay. There's a Warfather, which is the next stage up. The three troops you build when you're the Tainted Coil from the stage: the Battle Nun, the Warfather, and the Overblesser, right? And he's going to build a Skull Raker, which is the part that Steve Agee plays in the game. He's really fun on his own. He's got this detachable head that is supported by a chain that he throws around on his own, or you can double team with him and you can smack it like a baseball bat. Let's show that. You can walk around on his shoulder. I like the animation. Smack the ball around, which is a really effective way to take out, I think, vehicles and buildings too. That's pretty nice way to take down a merch booth. There's David Cross's character there tied to that car. Excuse me. We're talking there for a while. Yeah, we went to New York to record that day. Oh, the merch booth is open.
Let's see. Easy1891 wants to know what it was like to work with Jack Black in the studio.
It sucked. Such a pill. He was always like, no, Jack Black is one of the funniest people. He's just as funny as you'd imagine. He's just like a really low-key kind of personality in the office, and he likes to talk about music, and he likes to sing a lot during the session, and but really perfectionistic about voice. Like he'll do 20 takes of every line just to kind of get it right, and then he'll start joking around, and maybe one of his joke versions of the line will be the funniest one, so we'll use that. So he was really fun to. He really puts you at ease when you're hanging out with him, because like I'd forget he was a famous movie star until later in the day. I was like, oh, that's right, Jackson, famous movie star.
And so as far as the script goes, was it pretty set? Did you guys do a lot of improvising when you were in the studio?
I improvised mostly like versions of the lines. Like I would write the script, and then he'd read from that, but he would do different like alternate takes of them, alternate versions of the lines, put them in his own voice. And oh, there's a pain lifter. The pain lifter is awesome. It's this living hot rod that rips open and has this disease thing in the middle of it called an agony ball. And an agony ball is like this thing the demons grow in their lab, which is like a pile of hospital waste they've grown demon flesh around. So it's this creature that like lives its entire life screaming in agony. And I think, Eric, you thought of that one completely
That's
on your
the
own.
one I'm proudest of, the agony.
And
ball.
then if you double team with it, you can roll it around like this on your own, like a Katamari ball. That's our little Katamari reference in the game.
Homage, really.
An homage. Okay, now you've got to capture that merch move.
So with all the stuff that you guys packed in the game, was there anything that wound up not, like, just you said take it out or whatever? Like, we just had heard that, I guess, the combat in Batman was going to be rhythm action based, but thankfully they came to their senses and didn't do that.
We took that. So we have a no.
Is there a
We
dating
had
component? Farming?
you know, we had about twice as much story as we ended up having. We had this whole chunk of the game that we'd like just, you know, it would have taken 10 years to make. So we did have to like, just if we want to get this done in 4 years, we're going to have to limit it to just this epic tale of these, you know. So there is stuff that we had to take out, but I think it holds together pretty well. I don't think there's any other really weird things that we ever had. Okay, launch another Katamari agony ball. Boosh. So that's the skull. I mean the head splitter there, which is Eddie's ballista hot rod that he could drive around.
And so Eddie's ballista hot rod, is that like a different model of the Deuce, or is that just an upgrade?
No, it's one of his troops that he can build.
Ah.
It's right there. It's got its head split open, so it can shoot its ballista.
How did the idea for the guitar solo mechanic come about? How did you guys decide that you actually want the player to play those notes to summon things?
Well, we want to have a guitar in the game. You know, it's a game about rock and metal, so we want to have a guitar, and the player can. We knew we wanted to have the player playing it in some way, and so in interacting with the music. So, you know, we tried different methods of having it be like a little toy that you can make music with, or just different things, and we wanted to have just be something that wouldn't interrupt the action too much. You know what I mean? Just a short little burst of interactive moment with these guitar solos. And then we got Glenn Tipton and KK Downing from Judas Priest to record all the solos. So that was really fun too. I didn't get to go to the studio that day.
Oh.
Hey Cage. Where's your hay cage?
Give it a second.
I don't want to build a hay cage
It's
right
coming.
now.
Just
See, Devin doesn't. Oh, look at that. There's an overblesser and a heart cutter. And a digester. Okay, so he's talking to the overblesser here to build him a hay cage. This is the heart cutter. The idea there's a druid up there and he's stabbing this heart on the altar. And whenever he stabs the heart, it makes blades come up out of the ground and attack his enemies. But when you double team with it, Davikolos rips open his own chest, and the druid stabs him in the heart, and it makes this multiple blade thing come out of the ground, which is much more devastating. Okay, there's the birth of the hate cage, and that's a little lump of pure hate in that cage, and it's just dripping pure hate on the battlefield. And then there's another creature, which is just those legs that walks it around and carries it around. So there's the hate cage.
Nice.
Go see what Devin's doing. Okay, he's driving his fire barons around. So they have this double team attack where they can lay down a ring of fire and trap your troops in it and burn them.
And so what we're seeing is basically competitive multiplayer.
Yeah, this is the one-on-one competitive multiplayer.
What else is it? What other multiplayer modes do we got?
It's just that or the teams of, 1, 2 on 2 and 2.
Got it.
Oh, who's going to win this one? I think
Other there.
all those guys are dead. Okay, now he's double teaming with the hay cage.
Did you guys ever toy with the idea of putting more information on the screen during these multiplayer matches?
I mean, it's definitely, you could fill the screen with all kinds of stats and stuff, but I was really a proponent of, having a HUD-less kind of experience. So just, because it really is, it's really an action game. It's really, if you get to, it's not set up to be where you're micromanaging your troops or playing this really like, if you watch people play like an RTS game, they're really about clicks per second and like making these crazy split-second decisions, and it's not that kind of gameplay. It's not where you're like, you can see here these battles are really chaotic. You're not really trying to find the troop with the lowest health and move him away from the battle like you'd often do if you're playing a StarCraft game. It really is much more about the getting in there and swinging your axe and or double teaming with your troops and stuff. So. I think this is just the right amount of information for the stuff that you actually need to do in the game.
Plus, you would want to obscure the hate cage.
Right.
No, that would be less hate cage on the screen. I think you just take his stage.
Yeah.
Look at that. He's just messing around.
And so we've seen like this kind of nutty array of units. Was there anything that you guys thought was just completely bizarre? When
I
people were
didn't put
showing
in?
Yeah.
I mean, there's something we thought was crazy, bizarre, but that's what got in. And there's nothing, I don't think there's nothing that we rejected for being too over the top, because all we had to do was say, could you imagine this on the cover of a heavy metal album?
Nice.
And then if you could, then it got in the game. I'm trying to think of something that wasn't metal. They were like, okay, that's really cool, but it wasn't metal.
Well, the flower picking minigame, right?
Yeah, the flower picking minigame did not actually make it in.
Ah.
What happened to the weather? Was that you?
Yeah, I used a little solo.
You played
there.
a solo to change the weather, so now all his. What's the effect of that solo?
So that made troops fighting near my stage more powerful. That's a good defensive move that the Tainted Coil has.
And you just stepped on the hot rod and killed it. Chop.
And then I got another one from the chat room that wants to know, after you finish the game, can you roam around afterwards?
Yeah, that's something I really wanted to do on Psychonauts, and I was really sad that we didn't have the time to do that, and we got people complaining about that. And so I was like, on the next game, we're going to have a post-campaign state. You can actually roam around, and I don't want to spoil it. Some of the characters in the game are hanging out, and you can chat with them or do more things with them.
Nice.
It's fun.
It's not much of a spoiler.
It's not. Well, I won't say what you can do with them. That makes it sound really dirty. And it is really dirty.
Only one way to find out.
That's right.
The question is, how dirty is it?
It's just the right amount of dirty. I think you're gonna win.
We've seen the statue. Are you guys gonna do plushies of like the hate cage and
Man, I wish
whatnot?
we could do plushies.
Yeah.
We should have a whole plush army. We're right now just focusing on the lovely statue, but once this game is a huge hit, I'm sure you'll see all kinds of plushies. A plushie of me.
Tim Schafer plushie?
Yeah. Oh no, it died. I shouldn't laugh. You're probably really attached to that hate cage.
Yeah, I mean, we've been through some tough times.
So that's an ultra. You built a divine nun. I won't even explain what that is. It's too advanced. Okay, I think Eric's just about to close the deal. So that's all three factions. There's like Ironhead, which is a good basic faction. Like I think most people right off the bat would be most comfortable with. It has like your fast-moving units that do a lot of damage, and then Tainted Coil, which is about that special ability, the hierarchy units that can spawn other units on the battlefield, and then the Drowning Doom, which is more about buffs and debuffs and cool double team attacks.
And he just did a curse.
He just killed a girl.
She was a bad girl.
That's mean, Eric.
These are the girls that are really inspired by that. Have you ever seen Heavy Metal Parking Lot? It's a great movie about a parking lot outside a Judas Priest concert in 1982, Maryland. And just people hanging out, drinking, underage teens drinking, and those characters, or like what we wanted to capture with some of the characters in our game, so that the Razor Girl there was inspired a little bit from those characters, also Kim Kelly from Freaks and Geeks. Let's just drop all the inspirations.
All the references
Just
you
get
possibly
all
can.
kinds of food. It'll be
Oh
fun.
man, that stage is burning. It's about to go down.
Do
Where's
it.
Devin?
Is
Is
it?
he? Oh, see, Devin is up there on one of the spotlight turrets trying to fry Eric's dudes. Oh, but it didn't work. Brutal victory.
Very nice.
Good job. Good done.
Nice work, Eric.
Victory
Good
for
time.
demons.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So that's a pretty good look at the multiplayer in Brutal Legend.
Yeah, I hope you like it.
Yeah.
I'll
good
play
one.
you guys later.
Oh, it's a battle of who can lose
I'm not
the
very
fastest.
good. That's really the shame when you make a game and then you're not the best. I was like, I gotta make. If I made it, I should be the best at it. But already, I just played a game this morning with our lead tester, and he kicked my ass.
And then
Ouch.
so your menus are actually somebody holding an album.
Somebody?
Well, this is
That's world famous movie star Jack Black holding that album.
Ooh,
Those are
nice.
Jack's hands. We wanted to have, this game's all about celebrating album covers and the joy of looking at an album cover, like staring at all the details on it and the liner notes. You know how disappointing it was when you'd open it up and there'd be like nothing on the inside, or just like, it's pictures of the band. I want lyrics.
So you're releasing the game on vinyl too, then?
I wish. I would love to. My dream would be to do a soundtrack that was like double vinyl. But you can, if you pre-order the game, you can get actually an album that looks just like that with a little place for you to store the DVD of the game inside of it.
It's like
Nice.
small vinyl.
It's like small vinyl.
Yeah, that works.
All right. Well, I'll throw this out one more time
Yeah.
to see if we can't drop it on accident, but we won't.
When do you actually give it away? When do you actually?
We're gonna be
Hey.
picking. We're gonna wait a little bit, let a bunch of people submit, and then we're gonna randomly choose.
Look at those
Jody will probably
arms.
get on
Look at the
that.
detail on this thing.
I would pay $1 million for this.
I would pay $5 million.
Sold.
I'll.
$5 million.
Do you accept check?
No.
All right. So you guys are done with the game. Where do you go from here? What happens next in the world of Tim Schafer?
You'd like me to announce our next game? Well, I will.
I wouldn't
announce-
mind it.
We are working on some top secret stuff. Heretofore unknown. Wait, heretofore? Is that a word?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah,
It
that's
is
not
now.
right though, because it's still going to be unknown because I can't say what it is. Some secret stuff, some things, some ideas that we have kicking around. And also just relaxing. The team is having its first chance to relax and wind down after 4 years of heavy metal.
Well, it's very clear you guys have put a ton of work and love and dedication in this game. So have a very relaxing vacation.
Thank you. Thank
My
you very
pleasure.
much. Thanks for having us on your fine program here.
Absolutely. Tim, Eric, thank you guys very much.
Good job. Good plan.
A hug. Come on.
Hey, thanks for having us.
It's been great. It's been great. Ricardo, anything else?
No, I think we're good. Other than don't forget Tim's trivia question, which was.
What was the original name for the band Black Sabbath before they were called Black Sabbath?
Yes, you can send that to us to onthespot@gamespot.com email, and and get a chance to get one of these.
They're really awesome. I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but even up close, the detail. I met the artist who did it. It was just incredible. I really like them. I only have one of these. I don't know how you got one.
You should submit a trivia answer.
I know the answer. It's.
No.
Oh, not going to say it.
Almost did it.
All right, guys. So that'll just about wrap it up for our Brutal Legend edition of Now Playing. Thanks to all of you for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode, which I'm sure won't be too far away. And Brutal Legend arrives October 13th?
Tuesday.
This Tuesday. We don't even have to say the
You're
number. It's
supposed
this
to do
Tuesday.
The whole Rocktober thing.
Oh, we're in Rocktober. It is Rocktober.
All right.
Rocktober 13th.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
What are you laughing at? That was totally metal when I did that.
Totally.